are at chapter 9, verse 8.
7.
7?
Chapter 7.
Chapter 7 and verse 8.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
Correct. Chapter 7. Bhagavad Gita. Text 8.
As it is. Yes. Okay.
Rasoham apsukunteya.
Rasoham pasukunteya.
Prabhasmi shashi suryo.
Prabhasmi shashi suryo.
Pranava sarva vedeshu.
Parnva sarva deshu.
Shabda ke purusham nursu.
Shabda ke purusham nushu. Okay. Rasohamsa tasu konteya.
Rasoham apsukunteya.
Prabhasmi shashi suryo.
Prabhasmi shashi suryo.
Pramana sarve deshu shabda.
Pranava sarva vedeshu.
Shabda ke purushe nuprushu.
Shabda ke purusham nursu. Okay, the translation, please.
O son of Kunti, I am the taste of water, the light of sun and the moon, the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. I am the sound in ether and ability in men.
Okay.
So Krishna says, I am everything, pretty much.
Yes, yes. Well, in the previous verse we did last week, Krishna said there's no truth superior to me.
Yeah.
There's nothing higher than him, Krishna's saying. He's the top. He's the highest.
Yeah.
And then he said everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread.
Yeah.
Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. And we said, just like if I pulled the thread out of this kantimala, it would all fall apart. You know, that all there's say more than 100 beads here.
Yeah.
So, but there's only one thread. There's 100 beads or 200 beads or whatever, but there's only one thread. So Krishna's like that thread. If without Krishna, it all just falls apart. There's nothing there. So all these beads are held together by the thread. So like all the different energies in the universe are held together by Krishna. That's all Krishna's energy. So these verses, there's quite a few verses after each other where Krishna's explaining his different energies in the universe, how these different things that we see around us and taste like water and hear like the sound, that they're different energies of Krishna. So the water is an energy of Krishna, as mentioned here. And the light of the sun is an energy of Krishna, as mentioned here, and the moon also. And then Om, that sound Om, that's also Krishna. And every sound that we hear, that sound is originally, it's coming from Krishna. It's Krishna's energy. And all the abilities that we have, you know, like you're very good at hospitality, you know, so that ability that you're very hospitable, Gulshan, that's coming from Krishna. And, you know, someone might be a good cook. That's not their ability. It's Krishna's ability. Someone's a good gardener. Someone's a good artist. Someone's a good musician. You know, Ramtek is a fantastic musician. But that ability that Ramtek has to play the drum and the harmonium and sing and everything, it comes from Krishna. So every time someone's that's Krishna conscious tastes water, what do they think? What do they remember? They remember Krishna. Every time we see the sun or feel the sunshine on us, we remember Krishna. At night, we see the moonlight and we remember Krishna. Every time we say Om or hear any sound, we remember Krishna. or we appreciate some ability someone has. We remember Krishna, that ability comes from Krishna. And talking about ability reminds me that when Krishna left this earth 5,000 years ago, Arjuna was given a job to escort Krishna's queens, 16,108 queens, to escort them from Dwarka to some place. I'm not sure where they were going, but he was deputed to protect them, to escort them. And one group of really small people, like pygmy kind of people, they attacked, and they actually managed to take the queens away from Arjuna's protection. And before that, of course, Arjuna had performed incredible feats. He defeated Gandharvas, he defeated the demigods, he defeated, of course, the Kuru dynasty, and he defeated Bhishma, he defeated Dronacharya, but now he couldn't even defeat these little pygmies. And then Arjuna was devastated. And he said, "Am I the same Arjuna? Is this the same Gandiva bow?" And he couldn't. And then he realized that Krishna has taken my gift away. Krishna's taken my ability away. So we have to realize that whatever ability we have, it comes from God, and he can also take it away too. So be aware of that. Don't get proud. Don't get proud. It's not that Arjuna was proud, but that ability wasn't needed anymore, because Krishna invested that power in Arjuna for that purpose of removing the demons from the earth and everything. But the demons were all gone now, and Krishna has gone, and also Krishna plan was that Arjuna and the rest of the Pandavas would also go back to Godhead. So they, shortly after that, actually the Pandavas retired. They retired from political life, and they went to the Himalayas, and from there they got moksha. They went back to Godhead, back to Krishna. So it wasn't needed anymore, that ability. So it's given for a specific purpose, and when there's no need for that anymore, then that might be taken away. So don't be attached to anything, because we don't know how long we got it for. Not only we don't know how long we got our life for, but even the abilities that we have, or something like that.
I wish if that Putin understand that, that'd be great. If Russian president understand this, that'd be wonderful. The amount of damage he's doing that to Ukraine, he didn't understand. He has to go one day. What he is doing, Not everybody understand these things, but it's like ignorance, no knowledge whatsoever. But I think it's all Krishna designed this, or
Krishna designed what?
The war, what's happening there, or is it the human? It's nothing is
no, the responsibility goes to the humans. It's not that Krishna wants us to fight, but it's because of our greed, our greed, our desire for power and fame, and get a name for ourselves. And I didn't want to say too much about it, but since you brought it up, there's a lot of talk going around that actually America's behind it. They're always got their finger in the pie of everywhere. If you look at any political situation around the world, or fighting between countries, if you trace it right back, it'll usually come back to America. Because America have been investing so much money into Ukraine, and putting weaponry in Ukraine, and people in Ukraine, and stirring up trouble. And of course, they're immediate neighbor of Russia. So if you have America right next to Russia, stirring up things, and they're trying to push them into anti-Russian anti-Russian sort of agenda. So they're stirring up the Ukraine people to be against Russia, which is obviously Russia doesn't like that, and creating these neo-Nazi kind of camps and things like that to, you know, really angry people and everything like that, training up young Ukrainians to hate Russians and stuff like that. So, and Russia's been telling Ukraine and America for years, don't do that, you know, stop it, just stop this. And they haven't listened. Neither Ukraine listened, neither to keep getting support from the US, and neither US listened. So, you know, according to what everyone's saying, you know, Putin's just had enough, you know. I mean, he's been saying for years, you know, this is not acceptable. You can't like be backstabbing, you know, Russia from Ukraine. You know, they're like holding the knife, but like Ukraine's the knife, but US is holding the knife and poking them. So, yeah, I mean,
like, I know
they don't like. It's not that they enjoy war, because I mean, it's devastating for Russia too. All their money is getting used up, and their people are getting killed, and everything like that. So many things, the resources and everything, and you know, the tariffs against them, their economic, you know, situation is very bad and everything. So, but America has put them in that position where, you know, like they say, you know, up against a wall. When you're up against a wall, you know, so. And US is famous for that kind of thing, you know, everywhere. Afghanistan, Cuba, Vietnam, Korea, everywhere, you know. So
to be the, you know, the leader of the world.
Yeah, it's because it's just greed, you know, greed and power hungry. It's just like madness, you know. And I was just remembering a verse from the Bhagavad Gita today in the 16th chapter. We can look at that verse. I think it's the verse number 19 in the 16th chapter. 19. No, 18.
18, yeah.
No, sorry. No, it's not the one either. 9, sorry, 9. 19, 9. Yeah.
16:9, is it? 16?
Yeah.
9. Yeah. Follow such conclusion, the demonic who are lost to themselves and those who have no intelligence engage in unbeneficial, horrible work meant to destroy the world. Oh, yeah.
So that sums up these materialistic demons.
Yes.
And this verse follows on from the previous verse. That's why it's saying following such conclusions. So what's the conclusion? So we look at text number 8.
They say that this world is unreal, with no foundation, no God in control. They say it's produced of sex desire and has no cause other than lust.
Yeah, so this is the so-called knowledge or the philosophy of the demons, the materialists. Yeah. So the first thing is they say the material world is not real, it's false.
Yeah, and it's there for lust.
It's just an illusion. But actually, we also say that it's illusory, you know, it's Maya, but that means that it's temporary. It's temporary, but it's real. It's not unreal. It's real because it's God's energy. How can any of God's energy, whether it's spiritual or material, be unreal? No, it's coming. Anything coming from God is real. Yeah. But some of the energy coming from God is temporarily manifested, and some of the energy coming from Him is eternal. So, like, obviously, the souls are eternal, and the spiritual world is eternal, and He's eternal. But the matter is temporary. You know, it has a beginning and an end. But we don't say it's unreal. It's not unreal. It's illusion in the sense that when the soul thinks that we can be happy in the material world, that's illusion. It's not the material world that's an illusion, but it's us thinking that we can be happy in the material world that's an illusion. It's us thinking that I belong to the material world. You know, that I'm thinking that I'm a Kiwi, I'm 50 years old, this is my wife, this is my house, this is my car, this is my job, this is my money, this is blah, blah, blah. this is my country. All these ideas, that's unreal. That's illusory. But it's not that the earth is unreal, or the water is unreal, or the fire is unreal, or the air is unreal. These are real things, you know. These are real energies, and they're temporarily manifest, and then unmanifest, and then manifest. Actually, even matter is eternal. Even matter is eternal. However, it's in a particular form for a short time, and then it'll be destroyed, and then it'll become into something else. I'll give you an example. You have earth, and then that earth is changed into a brick, and then that brick, by using fire, that earth is turned into a brick, and then that brick, in due course of time, it'll be destroyed. And that brick, then what will happen to the brick? Will the brick just disappear?
Back to the earth.
Back to the earth, yes. So it's always existing, but it's just temporarily earth, brick, you know, something else, brick, earth, you know, like that. So it's just changing from one form to another. But even the matter itself is eternal. The energy is eternal. So it's not unreal. So we don't agree with this demoniac philosophy where they say the world is unreal, and that it's like that. And they say there's no foundation. So they say there's nothing, there's no God behind it. There's no God in control of it, like that. So they say there's no foundation, no God in control. So we don't agree with that at all. That the foundation is God. He is in control.
That, like, you know, like if any demonic people ask me that, I said, look, have you got a control of birth, where you're gonna born? No. Have you got a control of the death, when you're gonna die? No. If you're not in control, somebody is. That somebody is the God.
Yes.
If you're not in control, doesn't mean you're not in control. But you got no control over, you born in Russia or Africa or India or Japan.
Yeah.
You will born, and then you got no control of the death.
Yeah.
So if you're not in control, it means somebody is.
Yeah. Yeah.
That somebody is Krishna.
Yeah.
But they just, like, you know, anyway, everybody has got a different way of thinking. But when somebody is not believing the God, I don't really talk much. It's like a bless for me. And I just say, okay, it's your views. Thanks. But it's no point to be, you know, talking to someone who's completely against that.
True. Yes. Yes. So if since they're saying that there's no God behind this material world, then what do they think is behind the material world? How has it come about? They say that the material world has come about due to sex. That's it. See, like they say there, they say it is produced of sex desire and has no cause other than lust. So they say, you know, where do I come? Well, where do I come from? I come from my mum and dad having sex. Where do they come from? From their parents having sex. Where do they come from? So that's all they can see, you know,
right,
that the animals are having sex and the birds are having sex and everything's having sex. That's the origin of the life, is just male and female and different species coming together having sex. So they can't see anything more than that. They can't understand that God puts the soul into the material world, puts the soul into the male, and then through the semen of the male, it's going to the woman. So that's the additional thing which they can't see. So, for example, one pathway that the soul comes down into a human body is that, for example, if the soul was in heaven, then when it rains, then it's said the soul comes down in the rain and then goes into the field where the wheat or the rice is growing or whatever, the oats or the rice, wheat, like that. And so the grains, and then that grain is then eaten by the man, and then inside the man it goes into the semen, and then from there, of course, it goes into the womb of the woman, and then you have a child, you know. So, but the materialistic demons, they're just seeing it's just the mechanical sex. They're not understanding that also there's a soul involved there, and that the soul comes from God, is part of God. So these things, this is their philosophy. And because of that philosophy, it leads to what we just read before in text 9.
Yeah.
So once they establish, that's the conclusion, that this world is just false, it's temporary, there's no God behind it, it's just all due to sex and everything. Then once they have that idea, and so that's a demoniac philosophy and everything like that, then that means, like it's saying here, which is a really interesting word, nashtatmano. Nashta means having lost, atmana, themselves. So Prabhupada says, who are lost to themselves. So what does that mean? They've lost themselves. Because you're going to say something?
It's somebody will say that I know, that means he closed the door of knowing something. And these people, they said, yeah, we know that this is the world do like that. I mean, they close the doors. Like even the more knowledgeable person in ISKCON, they say, I know nothing.
Yeah.
Means they're willing to know something, they're seeking. And they're hungry to know, and they're seeker. And these people are saying, oh, we know that this is this. Once you say we know, it means you close the door. You don't want to know anything.
Can't learn anything more,
Anything once you say no. Yeah. But anyway,
so
these kind of people.
So what happens to a demon? They actually, their real knowledge gets covered over because they have this philosophy where they're envious of God. They don't accept there's a God. So, and because of that, their knowledge is covered over. So they're the ones that are an illusion. It's not the world that's an illusion, but they're an illusion.
Yes.
So they're an illusion, and the soul is like completely lost. It's completely lost. They forget themselves. They forget who they are. That's like, we call that amnesia, right? If you get a bang on the head or a car accident or whatever, you can go into amnesia state where you forget what your name is, you forget
wipe out
your partner and your family and where you live and everything, you forget. So that's what happens to the demons. It's like, so we were all brought up in that, that we forgot who we really are. We were just identifying with the body and everything, and we forgot our spiritual identity. We forgot our relationship with God. So completely lost. I mean, I remember having that feeling before I met the devotees when I was a young teenager, that I was lost. So there's that situation of feeling lost, and we completely lost our spiritual identity and misidentifying ourselves with matter and the material world. So this is symptomatic of a demon. They have lost their spiritual self-realization. There's no self-realization. And they've lost their intelligence. So alpa buddhya, alpa means very small, and buddhi means intelligence. So they're less intelligent, very small intelligence. And because if someone's truly intelligent, then they will understand that this world is so complicated. There must be a God behind it. There must be some intelligent person. Obviously we won't know who God is, but if we have intelligence, we can understand just by logic, by reasoning, that, the sun comes up, the same time every day from the east, and it sets in the west, and the seasons go in a perfect order, and the planets are rotating in orbit in a perfect order, and everything, the temperature is regulated and everything, and the rainfall and the sunshine and the air, everything that we need is provided. It's like provided like automatically. It's just so highly designed in such a highly intricate and just brilliant way, just incredible way, from a very small scale to the vast scale of the planets floating around in space and they don't bang into each other. I mean, what's the you see so much stuff up there in the night and the sky, but none of it bangs into each other. I mean, imagine that on the road, you know, if you just had cars, you know, on the road without drivers, you know, they would all be just crashing. But because the driver is there, you know, there's some intelligent person there, then the cars don't bang into each other. But of course, if the driver falls asleep, what happens?
Of course, crashes.
Then there's a crash, you know, like that. So, of course, there must be some intelligent person or persons, you know, that are controlling and managing and everything in the material world. But if you can't understand that, then you're dumb, you know, you're just less intelligent. If you think it's all happening by chance, because that's what the demons say. Yeah. I mean, we say there's someone in control, intelligent person in control, God. They say everything happens by chance. You know, the sun is there by chance, the moon is there by chance, you know, water is there by chance, you know, food is there by chance, but it's so ridiculous.
They say their birth is by chance.
By chance, yeah.
So it's like one demon, he stopped that Buddha, and he was telling that, like, you know, why you not listening to me? I'm the powerful one in this world. And he said, Buddha said that, really? He said, yes. He said, okay. Just give me one test, one exam. If you pass that, then I believe that my search is not over yet. The Buddha says. He said, okay, tell me. He said, just grab just the 3-4 leaf from that tree. He said, is that all? He said, yeah. It's just, he grabbed the branch and then took the 4 leaves out of that and gave it to Buddha. He said, here you go. He said, now, can you put it back? He said, I can't put it back. He said, then how can you say you are so powerful? You can't even put the 4 leaves back on the tree. Then don't say you're powerful. And then he opened his eyes. Says, really? Like, I can't do nothing. Like, even put the 4 leaves back. How can I just say I'm the powerful, you know, in the world? You can't even just put the 2 leaves back on the tree. Yeah. So don't boost that, like, you know. Yeah. And he just become
he burst his bubble that is powerful.
Yeah, he become his disciple. He said, wow. Yeah. And I just like, if demonic people, he said, well, take 1 leaf and then put it back. You can't. Can you generate 1 apple? You can't. You have to wait till that, you know, soil will be there, seed goes in there, water come there, sun come there, then the apple will come, tree will come, and apple. There's no factory you can produce apple.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't it?
And nature is not just giving 1 apple. Nature is giving millions of trees that produce millions of apples. That's you know, right. I was just looking at some of our apple trees today, and just enjoying see the little small little apples starting to form on the trees, the flowers and the small apples. Thinking, wow, this is amazing.
It's like, you know, it's just like nature does its own time. Like, you know, if you want a watermelon, you'll get only in summer, because nature knows that you lose a lot of water from your body. You need a watermelon, and it comes in summer only.
Yeah, you don't need that in winter. You need that in summer.
That's right. So nature knows.
Yeah,
if you listen to nature, you won't get sick. Yeah. But if you go against the nature says that wake up before the sunrise. But people doesn't. Well, then you go against the nature. Means whom would you like most? The person go along with you or person go against you? Obviously, person go along with you, isn't it? So you go along with the nature. Nature's happy in you. If you go against the nature has got no interest in you. Simple. You don't need to do PhD to learn that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well. Yeah, so if we're intelligent like that, we can understand that there must be God in control. But anyone that says there's no God, it's all by chance, they're obviously, their intelligence is very small. What's the result of that? They've forgotten who they are, that they're a soul, and they have very less intelligence. They can't understand that there's a God, there's a soul or anything. So, and what do they end up doing with that mentality, that they're thinking they're the body, they've forgotten their soul, and they're very less intelligence. They're very ignorant, and in that ignorant condition, what do they do? Now, this is where the problems begin at this point, because like it says here, Pravavantyoga Kamana, they do really well at ugra karma. Ugra karma means activities, but ugra means terrible. Ugra means terrible or horrible. So horrible, terrible. So they're very enthusiastic at doing horrible, terrible work. And what's the result of their horrible, terrible work? In the last line, Kshaya Jagato Hita, that whatever they do is unbeneficial. There's no good results. It's all unbeneficial, bad results. Kshaya Jagata, that's a really horrible combination of words. Jagata means the world. And like Jagat, we have the word Jagat, means like the universe or the world. So, and Kshaya means for destruction. So all their activities are leading towards trying to destroy the world. And we see that, whether it's, demons in America or demons in Russia or demons in Pakistan or demons in China or demons in New Zealand, Australia, that they're engaged in very destructive activities, that they try to destroy the environment, they destroy the water, the air, the food quality, you name it, they'll try to destroy it. This, species extinction, they'll try to kill off the animals and kill off the plants and kill off the bugs and the fish, and they're just so destructive, and they obviously, this is indicating, nuclear weapons as well, and Prabhupada discusses that in the purport to this verse, 16.9 about nuclear weapons. So that's what they ultimately, all their activities are leading towards destruction.
Yeah.
And that's you could say Krishna's plan for the demons, that they'll get together, that Krishna will arrange, and because you asked about, is Krishna behind this war in Ukraine or whatever. So Krishna's plan is that he'll make some arrangements that the demons get together and they kill each other. and like that. So, and that's what happened in the Battle of Kurukshetra. That Krishna arranged all the demons, got together on the Battle of Kurukshetra, and in 18 days, that's how long it lasted for, 18 days, they all killed each other. There was only a handful of people left after 18 days, basically the good guys. The Pandavas were left and not really anyone else. And all the demons had killed each other. So that's Krishna's plan. These demons.
One good thing happened in. I heard that I was in that Vrindavan. One of the devotees was telling me that we're talking about this war. That Krishna is arranging all that things or not, or demons are. So one devotee says that the Ukraine there's a temple there, ISKCON temple as well. So few of the devotees ISKCON temple, and now Ukraine was saying that every male member over 21 has to come in the war because country is in trouble. You have to serve the nation. So, but they were devotees, but they were not initiated. So they request that Radhanath Swami, if you please initiate us online, we're going to the war and then we won't be back. We'll definitely will die, but we will die as a devotee. If you can do, please. So Radhanath Swami gave it an online initiation to these devotees, and then they end up dying in the war. But they get initiation, then they died. They got a gun in the hand and the chanting bead, and then eventually in the war, so many soldiers died. So that's good. The next life they will be born somewhere in the spiritual life, or or a devotee's house or something like that. That's really, really nice thing to be, because those who are going to the temple, like in ISKCON in Ukraine, they say, well, we have to go to the war and eventually we'll die. So please initiate us. So Radhanath Swami did their own line. That's a very good thing. At least they liberated. Well, I don't know.
And
I
if,
should have.
if that's the situation that the demons end up killing each other, then if we're not in that category, hopefully we're not a demon,
No.
then if we're a devotee, then what should we do? If we want to avoid getting destroyed along with the demons when they're killing each other, then what should we do?
Well, we have to leave the situation. Like, no point to standing there. You have to move. Otherwise, the demon's not going to listen. We do chanting is the only way. You keep chanting, and then if it's demons will kill you, that it's okay. You will get liberated. Keep chanting.
Yeah, that's there, but also if we're intelligent, hopefully devotees are intelligent, not like the demons are very stupid. If we're intelligent, we should stay away from them.
Yes, stay away.
If two people are fighting, don't stand in the middle of them. So you should be a bit away from it, so you won't get in the crossfire. So that was Prabhupada's idea, that devotees should get some land, live a simple life, grow your own food, milk a cow, everything like that, live in the country like that. Because generally the people not getting killed in the country, they're getting killed in the cities. Where are they dropping the bombs? It's in the cities. They're not dropping the bombs on the farms. It's in the cities. So that's more intelligent for devotees to do that. We should live separately from the demons. Of course, we can go there to preach to the demons.
That's where we go, Sankirtan.
But not live right in there with them. That wasn't Prabhupada's idea. Of course, initially, most of the people were in the cities, but when they became devotees, Prabhupada was encouraging them to set up farms and live on farms. Even before Prabhupada departed, he said he wanted all the grihastas, all the family devotees, to go to the farms, the ISKCON farms. Unfortunately, that instruction didn't get passed on from the leaders. They obviously didn't want that. But that was very unfortunate that instruction didn't get passed on and followed. And, because of that, we have to suffer so much. So many devotees have remained in the cities and become attached to there and very unfortunate. And, of course, the only devotees that should really be in the cities are those that are preaching, like if you're involved with a bhakti tree, distributing prasadam, or you're doing harinam, or you're distributing books, or if you're distributing books like that, the book distributors, like that, distributing prasadam, harinam, then you'd be in the city. But otherwise, if you're not preaching, then why is a devotee living in the city? It's a horrible place, with all meat eating going on there and illicit sex and gambling, intoxication. It's a sinful place. And obviously, sinful place means there's going to be sinful reactions. Sinful reactions means suffering. Sinful reactions means suffering. So, of course, a devotee that's preaching, dedicated to preaching, he'll voluntarily accept that I have to suffer in order to help the people that I have to suffer. And Prabhupada, of course, gives the example of Jesus Christ. He voluntarily accepted suffering to the point where they killed him, And in our tradition, of course, Haridas Thakur, a follower of Lord Chaitanya, he was also tortured by the Muslims and everything like that. He was actually born a Muslim, but he became, a Krishna conscious follower, and he was tortured and punished. He was beaten and whipped in marketplaces and that, because he had rejected his Muslim faith. As you know, for a Muslim to reject the Muslim religion and follow another religion, they regard that as being very offensive.
They kill both the person who's preaching or the person who get converted. In this Quran it says kill both. That's like, if you, for example, if you're preaching a Muslim people about other religion, whether Christianity or Hinduism, so in Quran it's written there, kill them both, the person who's get preached or person who's preaching, kill them both, and you will go to the heaven. That's That's what it
So
means.
like that, yeah, they tried to kill Haridas.
Yeah.
But because he was protected by the Lord, he was saved. But he had to go through, many difficult situations because he was preaching to the demons.
Yeah.
But yeah, if devotees are not really, if that's not their thing, to preach like Jesus or Haridas Thakur, then why hang around in the cities just to make money? It doesn't make sense, It's not so good for Krishna.
That's why the Shamananda Prabhu, he goes to Pakistan. That I said, oh, careful, because he going to for GBC and then things like in a temple in Pakistan and distributing the Gitas and all that. But if they find out he's here to converting us, they could be in trouble.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. So a devotee may take risks.
Yeah.
To help other people become Krishna conscious, but if that's not what we're doing, then it's why do we take the risk if there's no benefit for Krishna? So that's the thing. So yeah, so this is the situation.
Yes.
For the demons, their mentality and their activities are very destructive.
And then it's like the strong Kali Yuga hasn't come yet. It's only 5,000 years.
Yeah, correct.
427,000 left.
Yeah.
So can you imagine 100 or 200,000 years time how the Kali Yuga is gonna be?
Yeah.
Worse.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
and it gives some of the symptoms towards the end.
Yeah.
That humans will be forced to eat meat because there'll be no grains, no dairy products, no fruits. All these kind of sattvic foods will not be available, so people will be forced to become rakshasas, meat eaters like that. So and you'll be regarded as an old man if you attain like in the 20s.
Oh, really?
If you're living in the in the 20s like that, late 20s, you'll be regarded as an old man. By that time, people will be like pygmies. They'll be very short, like pygmies.
Yeah. Okay. But after Kali Yuga, it will be start again the Treta Yuga and the Dwapar Yuga and all that.
No, Satya.
Golden Age. Treta Dwapar. Okay. Yeah. After this Kali Yuga. Uh-huh.
Yeah, when people becomes just so degraded, then Kalki will come, and Kalki will just no preaching at that point because people are so stupid. Then no one to preach to, so he just chops off all the heads, with a sword, cuts off all the heads. And then there's sages that are in the Himalayas. They're there today, and they'll be there. They have very long life, called Chiranjeev, very long life. They'll be still living at the end of Kali Yuga, and that when Krishna kills all the asuras, the rakshasas, then these sages will come down from the Himalayas and they'll impregnate some of the women, and very good children will be born. Very good children will be born, and that will become the beginning of the Satya Yuga, the Golden Age.
Okay.
And then Golden Age means then people live for a very long time, 100,000 years.
Yeah.
And they have all good qualities, like they're truthful and they're clean and they're austere and they're
and the Krishna conscious.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely Krishna. That's the foundation of all of it. But there's four main pillars of religion, dharma. I was just trying to remember. So truthfulness is one, cleanliness, austerity, and truthfulness. Oh, and mercy, compassion. Saying compassion. So those good qualities will be there because the sages have very pure consciousness. They're Krishna conscious. They're very pure. So that consciousness will be transferred to their children, and then that will be the beginning of the Satya Yuga. Like that. But it's said there will be a mini Satya Yuga brought about by Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement, which will last 10,000 years from when he was present. So
9,500 years left.
Yes. But it hasn't, as we know, we can see that it hasn't manifested fully yet. But Prabhupada indicated that this civilization will collapse. Just like when Kalki comes, it'll be destroyed. This civilization will be destroyed. So also we see, it looks like that this civilization that's been running, modern civilization, is in the process of collapsing. Everything's sort of falling apart all around the world. And even according to astrology, many astrologers agree that there will be a world war around 2030, and then obviously everything will be finished at that point. And then that would seem to be what Prabhupada was indicating what would happen. The modern society will collapse, and then the golden age of Lord Chaitanya will be fully manifest. Okay. So that'll be a difficult transition, obviously, what we're going through starting recently in the last couple of years, building up to 2030. But then after that, it'll be fantastic. But obviously the recommendation, which is what Prabhupada said 50 years ago, we still haven't really got it together, is to get some land, live a simple life, grow your own food, everything like that. So then there's a better chance that you'll stay alive during the transition, which is a very difficult transition. But during the period from now up till 2030, it's going to become more and more difficult in the cities with food and energy and all these things.
It's not long to go. It's only, 7 years, 8 years?
Correct.
Because so it's all started having, because Ukraine was a big supplier of grain, the wheat supplier, and then Turkey and other countries, they are struggling.
Of course.
Because there's farming happening there.
Of course.
And,
so it's all on the cards, you have to be a complete idiot to not see. Prabhupada said it 50 years ago, but we're too stupid to follow that. But I mean, now you don't have to be have a super IQ, to work it out. But even then, if we can't see it, then we're definitely pretty stupid, so. But like I said, if devotees want to preach till they die, in the cities or whatever, go for it. You have all the blessings of Lord Chaitanya. But if that's not what you're into, better to, be self-sufficient and but even I reckon, and I've seen that even doing like what we're trying to do, live on the land and be self-sufficient, grow our own food and everything, it's great preaching. There's heaps of people that get inspired by what we're doing, and people want to learn how to do these things, how to grow food, how to cook food, how to be off the grid, all these kind of things, have your own water supply and all that kind of thing. There's a lot of people interested in that, and people want to come here and have a look.
You don't need a lot of money. In the city, you do need a lot of money. If you do have a land, you produce a lot of stuff, which you don't need much money to survive.
Of course, yeah.
It was one interview coming there on the TV. I've seen that SBS channel. There's one guy, he lives in Queensland, $50 a month. He said, how do you live $50 a month? How do you do that? He said that everything I produce by myself. He's got a bit of land, and he grows the food, and he's got some chooks there, some cow there. He's got a meat from there, and then he's got dairy like milk and eggs and everything from there, growing some vegetable, everything there. And he's getting a sunlight from the sun, the solar, and no electric bill, nothing. And then everything he's just producing and self-sustained. And they were saying, why do you spend $50 then? He said, oh, that's a monthly internet. I cannot generate that. The internet bill per month, $50. That's what it is. I said, I cannot produce my own internet. So that's what I needed for $50. The internet per month. Other than that, no expenses at all. So, wow. It's like in the morning when you go to toilet, you just go to the bushes and there is water there. That's fine. Done. You don't need a toilet paper. And then everything doing that, just back to the nature. getting from the nature back to the nature.
Yeah.
And whatever leftover food, he just, dig the hole in the ground and just, decompose and everything.
Yeah.
And then just compost bin. Everything he's doing that and just self-sustain. Only the $50 he pay only for the internet.
Yes. Yeah.
That's very good, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
So this is what we're talking about today. All this nature around us is Krishna's energy. So what a Krishna conscious person should do is live in harmony. Live in harmony with Krishna's energy. We're hearing today about Krishna says, I am the taste and water, Raso Hamap Sakuntaya. So like that, we want, this is the things that are real wealth, is to have that pure water. Like Prabhupada mentions in the purport, it's not salt. You can't drink seawater because seawater is has got the salt added. You can't drink that. But what Krishna's saying, he is the taste of pure water, like without salt or any other addition to it. So these things are the real wealth, that we have the pure water. Like we're getting water here from the mountain, is coming down from the mountain
on the river.
Into our house from the river, like that. And this is the way people used to live. And it's easier to remember God. It's easier to remember God.
If you look at in olden days, all the civilization was around the water, near the river.
Yeah. They're either near the city, even like Delhi, right? Delhi is right near the Yamuna.
Yeah.
And Kolkata's near the Ganges.
Yes.
So all the big cities, right, were near some river because water is so valuable, obviously.
That's right. It's, if you don't remember that, it's Kalgoorlie in Australia. It was back in 1800. It was a top gold mine, was all over the world producing the gold. It was top gold mine. It's called Kalgoorlie. And but the only problem was there is no water. How can the miners live in there? And then there's no river, no water whatsoever. But there's gold is there. So that is a 12-hour from Perth. So they put the water line for 12 hours, like it's around 1,000 kilometers. They put the water line. Those who are miners, they want to live in there because the gold rush was there. Gold is there. And miners, they need the water. Without water, they can't live. So they put the pipeline for the water from the Perth to Kalgoorlie, and the pipeline is still there. Now there's no gold mine. It's finished the gold, but the pipeline is still there. They put the pipeline just to miners to survive. Otherwise, you cannot dig the gold, and survival is water. They put the pipe. It took around 1,000 kilometers. 1,000 kilometers.
Yes, so having that water is that's God's mercy. That's God's grace. If God doesn't supply the water, like to that place you're talking about, Kalgoorlie, then you're stuffed. You can't survive. You can't live. So it helps us. We should naturally be feeling that we're depending on God for our survival. If we think we're not depending on God, that's illusion. That's complete illusion. Now we think in the cities, we're in the big city, and we're depending on the scientist, depending on the politician and the scientist.
If you ask a little kid where the milk come from, he said, "Oh, that's from Woolworth."
Yeah.
It's not from the cow. It's from the Woolies. He only know that department store. That's all he know. Yeah.
So, I mean, like we said in the previous verse, everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. So, even in the city, all those things are the energies of God. But the problem in the city is it's harder to connect the dots. It seems a bit more remote because, like you say, the milk comes in a bottle from Woolies or whatever. You're not seeing
the farm,
which is God's creation. You're seeing the bottle, which is man's creation, and Woolworths, which is man's creation. You're not seeing the grass, which is God's creation, and the cow and the water and all these things. It's easier to remember God. But of course, even plastic. comes from God, because we know plastic comes from oil. Where does oil come from? Did man make oil? No, God made the oil. Oil has always been there under the earth. But it's harder for people to connect the dots.
And then I asked that one guy, like, I give you like a 10 kilo of the grass. Have you got any machine you can put the grass and the other end the milk will come out? He said, no way. I said, no, the cow is there. You give it a grass and the other end milk is come. You got no machine of that. Who created that? God. You didn't create cow, did you? He said, no. Well, there you go. She just cow eat the grass and give the milk. Have you got any machine you put the grass and get the milk come out? He said, no. I said, there you go.
Yeah, like that we can understand there must be God behind it, because it's so complicated. Amazing. It's incredibly intelligent that Krishna creates a cow that can turn grass into milk.
The milk. Which machine is that turn grass to the milk? Have you got any heard about it? No. No machine ever been made the grass turn into a milk. But only Krishna created that?
Yeah. Okay, so let's read the purport. You want to start that?
Yeah. Sure.
7th chapter text.
The verse explains how the Lord is all pervasive by his diverse material and spiritual energy. The Supreme Lord can be preliminary perceived by his different energies, and in this way he realized impersonally. As the demigod in the sun is a person and is perceived by all pervading energy, the sunshine, so the Lord, although in his eternal abode, is perceived by his all pervading diffusive energies. The taste of the water
Let's just stop there for a moment. Let's just stop there. That's a great example to help us understand what's being spoken about here. Just like we can understand that there is a sun god, but we can't see the sun god, but we can understand there is a sun and a control of the sun, because the sunshine is everywhere. So in the same way, we can't see Krishna in the spiritual world, but we can see the energies coming from Krishna. Just like we can't see the sun god, but we can see the sunlight. So just in the same way, we can't see Krishna, but we can see his energy. So in the beginning, that's what preliminary means. Preliminary means in the beginning. So for a beginner, a beginner on the spiritual path, this is the recommendation for a spiritual beginner. Try to understand God, not immediately understand his spiritual form. You're not going to be able to see that. But try to understand God by his energies. So he has unlimited energies everywhere. Like mentioned some examples here, like the water and the sound and these kind of things. These are different energies of God. So just like when you feel the heat of the sun on your skin, or you see the sunshine, then you know there must be a sun in the sky. So in the same way, these energies, we can taste the water and we can feel the sun and we can hear the sound. So we know, Krishna must be there. There must be a God. These are the different energies of God. So this is the recommendation, how we can know God. First of all, you know God by his energies. You have to understand his energies. And then automatically that'll bring us closer towards understanding God, like that. As people say, I don't believe in God because I can't see God. But Prabhupada said, no, what do you mean you can't see God? But you can drink the water. And you can experience God through drinking the water. Or looking at the sun and the moon and, hearing the sound. You can hear God. Taste God. These are different energies. So Prabhupada didn't accept that, people say, I can't see God. No, that's not the only way you can experience God. It's through his energies. It's not just he has to appear in front of you on a laser beam and, God's standing in front of you and then you're going to believe him. No, that his energies are everywhere. What Prabhupada said, what do you mean you don't see God? God's everywhere around us. How can you not see him? His energies are everywhere. It's just like, how can you not see the sun? You know, the sun is everywhere. You see what I'm saying?
That's right. 100%.
Because the understanding is that, you know, you're perceiving energies, different energies, water and earth and fire and air and so forth like that. But any intelligent person can know that behind any energy, there's a person that controls energy.
Yeah.
Because some people might say, well, how does there being water, how does that prove that there's a God just because water is there? Or just because there's sun in the sky, how does that prove there's a God? Or no, because these are energies, right? Water is an energy. The sun is an energy. The sound in the sky is an energy. So all these things are energies. But logically, we know that behind every energy, there's a person that controls it. You know, like we've talked about so many times, electricity, right, is an energy. But behind the energy of the electricity, there's an engineer in the power station.
Definitely.
There's an engineer, right? Is anyone going to say that, electricity doesn't have to have any person behind it? It just exists by itself. No. You know, electricity just exists by itself. There's no one that controls electricity. It just exists by itself. It just came by itself and it's existing by itself. No, everyone knows that. Don't be stupid. Yeah. You know, there's a power station and there's engineers in the power station that control the electricity. So in the same way, you know, there's a person behind any kind of energy. The idea is you can't have energy by itself.
Yeah.
Energy, where does energy come from? Energy comes from a person. It always comes from a person. Now, cool. Now there's, you know, there's sound, right? There's sound coming between us. Where's that sound? Is that existing by itself? No, it's coming out of a person, you know, Abai. And it's coming out of another person, Gulshan. You can't just have sound. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, would anyone say that, you know, there's voices going on? Would anyone say, oh, there's no person behind those voices? It's just voices. It's just sound going on by itself. No, people say you're an idiot. You know, there's the sound is the voice is coming from a person. You can't have any kind of energy without a person behind it. So that's the idea why Prabhupada's saying that you can understand there must be God by God's energies, because we although we can't see God right now, I'm too contaminated. I'm not pure enough to see God. However, I can see and hear and taste and everything, perceive his different energies all the time, every day. So, but because I can see these energies around me, I know there must be God.
Yeah.
Because I know that, you know, energies are not by themselves. There must be a person behind the energies. Force. So it's logical, right? That makes sense, right? You get that?
Yeah.
So, you know, just by perceiving these energies around us, we can know without a doubt, for a fact, that there must be a person that's controlling them.
Even if you look at the small ducklings there, if they're crossing the road and going there must be the duck behind that. Where they all come from? You know, the little small ducks there, they go in the group.
Yeah.
And then the mother behind them. Definitely.
The mother, yeah.
Of course, there's a source there.
Yes.
It cannot be possible without, you know, anyone can understand that.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so let's continue.
The taste of the water is active principle of water. No one likes to drink seawater because a pure taste of water is mixed with the salt. A fraction of the water depends on purity of the taste, and this pure taste is one of the energy of the Lord. The impersonalist perceives that presence of the Lord in water by its taste, and the personalist also glorifies the Lord for his kindly supplying tasty water to quench men's trust. That is the way of perceiving the Supreme. Practically speaking, there is no conflict between personalism and impersonalism. One who knows God knows that the impersonal conception and personal conception are simultaneously present in everything and that there is no contradiction. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya established his sublime doctrine and Achitya Baheda and Baheda Tattva stimulate simultaneous oneness and difference.
Yeah, so this is Lord Chaitanya's philosophy, which is what we're following, obviously, Lord Chaitanya. So this is the highest philosophy.
Yeah, Achinta Baheda.
Achinta means inconceivable. So
Okay.
it's inconceivable that at the same time, simultaneously means at the same time. So simultaneously, that we are one with God and different to God. We are one and different to God at the same time. So that's a bit inconceivable to try to understand that. But it's not actually too hard to understand. So we're one with God in quality. So everything has the same quality as God. God is eternal, and we, the soul, is also eternal. God is conscious, and we also, the soul, is conscious. We have knowledge. And God's nature is bliss, and our nature is also happiness, to be blissful, to be happy. Satchit Ananda Vigraha. So Satchit Ananda, eternal knowledge and bliss. So we have the same quality as God. We're not different from God in quality. However, the difference comes, so that's the oneness. So we're one with God in quality, but we're different to God in quantity. So the quantity is different. So although the quality is the same, but the quantity is different. Just like the examples given, the sun planet and the sunshine is the same. There's no difference between the sunshine and the sun planet. Heat and light. In quality, it's the same, but in quantity, it's different. The sunshine comes in your room, no problem. But if the sun planet came in your room, you don't have a room. So it's so big. So, and also a drop of water, like I was talking about seawater. So a drop of seawater, H2O plus salt, is the same as the ocean. Yep. The ocean is H2O plus salt. But the quantity is different. You can put a drop of water on your head, but you can't put the Indian Ocean on your head. No. You don't have a head. Like that. So the quantity is different. So we are qualitatively one with God, but quantitatively different from God. So if someone says we are God, in one sense we agree.
Yes.
In one sense we disagree.
Yeah.
So we are the same as God. We're tiny parts of God. We're nothing other than God.
Yeah.
We're not composed of anything else except for God. You understand that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's nothing in us that's different from God.
Yeah.
We're nothing other than God. But we're not the whole God. We're just a tiny part of God.
God we might be a drop, but the God is a full ocean.
Yeah. Just going to shut the curtain. And so that was the philosophy that Lord Chaitanya promoted. It was the impersonalists, the Mayavadis or impersonalists think that not only we are qualitatively one with God, but quantitatively also. So that's an illusion. That's an illusion.
God will pick that, Govardhan on this finger. You can't even pick one ear on that finger.
Yeah. So anyone thinks that we're quantitatively the same as God, that's an illusion. Yeah. So that's a mistake. But but is mentioning here that the impersonalist is perceiving God's energies. you know, like they'll drink the water and they'll appreciate that taste is God. So that's very good. Whereas it's mentioned here that the devotee will drink water and is not just appreciating that this taste is God's energy, but we glorify, as it's mentioned here, we glorify the person that's supplying us with the water. So that's something a bit different. We're not just appreciating that, oh, this taste is the energy of God. It's God's energy. We're not just that's there, but the devotee is appreciating more than that. Well, thank you, Krishna, for giving us this nice water. This delicious water has come from you. It's your energy. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So we glorify God for his energy, whereas the impersonalist is just remembering God and conceiving of God, that these are all energies. This is sun energy, this energy of the sun is God, this water is God, the sound is God, like that. But they don't know the person. They just know the energy. But the devotee knows the energy, plus we know the person behind it. See, the impersonalists, the Mayavadi, they don't know where the energy comes from. They think there's just energy. But we know there's a person behind the energy, and we know who that is. So we say, thank you, Krishna, for the nice sunshine. Thank you, Krishna, for the nice water. Thank you, Krishna, for the nice music, you know, like that. Thank you, Krishna, for this nice devotees who have amazing abilities. You know, that Ramtik is such a good musician. Thank you, Krishna. Because like we're reading here, right? Krishna is the ability in man. So we don't just say that, you know, Ramtek's good music skills. This is God. This ability, the skills that he has, this is God's energy. But we say more than that. That is God's energy. But we say, you know, thank you, Krishna, for sending Ramtek here with these and giving him these amazing abilities, which is helping me remember you, you know, like that. So inspiring me in Krishna consciousness. So devotee goes further. The impersonalist is appreciating that everything is the energy of God, but doesn't know anything about that there's a person behind the energy. Whereas a devotee, every time we experience one of God's energies, it reminds us of the person. See? It reminds us of the person. We immediately taste water, remember Krishna. Immediately feel the sunshine, the moonshine. We hear some sound, we remember Krishna. Whereas impersonalists, they taste water, they don't remember Krishna because they don't know about Krishna. But they think this is the Brahman. This is the Brahman, the energy. This is God. God is just energy. So for them, everything reminds them of Brahman, the energy, the all-pervading energy. The water is Brahman, the sun is Brahman, the sound is Brahman. You know, Ramtek's good skills, or, you know, someone's good cook, you know, is Brahman, like that. But it's not reminding. But for devotee, it's Krishna. You know, everything reminds Krishna. This is Krishna's energy. Krishna's energy. Krishna's. Thank you, Krishna. Like that. So it's a step. It's a step more. A step further.
Yeah.
Okay, the last one.
The light of the sun and the moon is also originally emanating from Brahmajyoti, which is impersonal effulgence of Lord, and Pranava, or Omkara, transcendental sound in beginning of every Vedic hymn, address the Supreme Lord, because the impersonalists are very much afraid of addressing the Supreme Lord, Krishna, by innumerable name. They prefer to vibrate the transcendental sound Omkara, but they do not realize the Omkara is the sound representation of Krishna. The jurisdiction of Krishna consciousness extends everywhere, and one who knows Krishna consciousness is blessed. Those who do not know Krishna is an illusion, and so knowledge of Krishna is liberation, and ignorance of him is bondage.
Mm.
Very well explained, Prabhupada.
Yeah. And this is interesting where Prabhupada is saying that the impersonalists are afraid of addressing God by his innumerable names. Innumerable means you can't count. There's unlimited names. God has unlimited names. But they're afraid to, why is that? Do you know why they're afraid to call, like you will never get a serious impersonalist that you can't get them to say Krishna or Rama or Nrsimha or Varaha, Vamana, Kurama. They won't say that. They'll only say Om. As far as you'll get them to say is Om. You know, why is that? Why won't they say God's personal names?
I don't know. They just like the God personal name is like it's a truth, and they are away from the truth. You know, that's like, you know, when the truth comes, that is like a light, and they run away from there. It's
but
like
they believe in God.
Yeah, they are, but I don't know. It's
Actually, they're envious of God. They're envious of Krishna.
one
They're
God.
envious of Krishna, so they can't say his name. They can't appreciate his name because they want to be God themselves.
Oh,
So their impersonalist means they want to merge and become one with God. They want to become one with God. I mean, see, that's the thing. Like we said, we're already one with God in quality, but they want to become one with God not only in quality but in quantity. So
which is
they
not
want to become the whole God. So that's why they're envious of God. So God also knows what's in their heart, that they're envious. So he doesn't allow them to say their name, to his names, because they're
it's like
so
a one
jealous,
guy.
so envious of him. And Krishna knows. Oh, you hate me, so you can't remember my name because you hate me. So you don't want to think of you don't want to serve me. You don't want to think of me. You want to become me. So I'm not going to allow you to say my name. So that they can't say. So, but Om for them is easy to say because it's not like a personal name. Om is like an impersonal
Krishna is
representation.
hurting their ego.
It's not a personal address.
Om is not hurting their ego. Krishna's name is hurting their ego. That's why they don't say.
Yeah, because then they're like calling out to a person, but they don't want to call out to a person. But they just see Om as just the universal sound. It's the universal sound, the universal energy. So that's no problem. They don't have any problem with energy, but they don't want to surrender to a person. That's
To a
the problem.
source. They don't want to believe in the source. There's a big energy.
They
There's
want
a
to
source.
become one with everything. And
right.
they don't want to accept that there's a supreme being that they have to surrender to or anything like that. They just want to become one with everything. Sometimes impersonalists, they're very sneaky. Sometimes they'll even worship a deity. Like it's called Panchapashana. So they'll worship sometimes Vishnu, Shiva, Durga, Ganesh, and Surya. So like that, sometimes they'll worship deities, but it's not because they have any genuine love or devotion for the deity, but their goal is that they'll worship the deity, and at a certain point when their realization is complete, they'll realize they're one with the deity, and they'll merge with the deity and become the deity like that. So that's their idea. So it's not real service, it's not real bhakti. Their idea is that it's just a temporary thing. And when they've become Brahman realized, when they realized Aham Brahmasmi, I am everything, then they'll become one with Shiva and one with Vishnu and one with Ganesh and Surya and everything, and become everything. And then there's no need for deities anymore. So that's very different than the mood of a devotee. We serve the deities now, and when we go back to Godhead, we also serve the Supreme Person there. We're not serving the deities so that we can go beyond the deity.
No.
You know, so that that's just a temporary thing. And when we're liberated, we don't need to serve anyone anymore. No, it's not like that. No, we're serving now, and when we get liberated, we'll continue to serve.
We are das. We were das. We gonna be das. That's it. Nothing
Past,
more
present,
than that.
and future. Yeah.
We will be in servant, whether 10,000 years, 1 million years, 20 million years. I will still be a servant. Nothing more.
Yeah. And that's where the bliss comes from, the ananda, as in relationships. It's called bhakti ras. That's the rasa. Rasa is a taste you get from a relationship. That's called rasa.
Rasa, yeah.
Just like you have rasgulla. You know rasgulla?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're very tasty. Very tasty. You know, so that rasa is, there's a very sweet taste to having that relationship. Like Nanda, Yashoda, Devaki, Vasudeva, they have Vatsalya rasa, that parental love, that Krishna's my son. Or Arjuna, Sakya rasa, Krishna's my friend. Radharani, Krishna's my lover. You know, or you know, Hanuman and Rama. You know, Rama is my master. I'm his servant. And Hanuman is in ecstasy. He's in bliss. Because that he knows that Ram is the perfect master. He's my perfect Lord and Master. I'm so happy to serve him. That's all I want, is to serve Ram.
Lifetime after the lifetime, just the servant. That's it. Nothing more than that.
And he'll never leave that. Nothing. One time even Krishna, because Hanuman was still living. Even now Hanuman is living. So Hanuman was there with Ram 2 million years ago in Treta Yuga. Now in Dwapara Yuga 5,000 years ago, one time Krishna, he called Hanuman. Okay. Krishna called Hanuman like that. And Krishna called Hanuman to come to Dwarka. And then he wasn't coming. He wasn't coming. And then Krishna sent Garuda, and then Krishna wants to see you, and then Hanuman didn't go. He said, I'm old. I'm so old now, and I was told it takes too long and everything like that. So many excuses, he couldn't go. And then Garuda went back and said, he gave these reasons why he can't come. And then he said, go back and tell him Ram is here. Ram wants to see him.
And then he
went there. And then Garuda gave him the message that Ram wants to see him. And then he started flying. And then he saw that Hanuman is coming back. He'd already gone there and was returning. He'd already gone. By the time Garuda took off, Hanuman had already gone there and returned. He was so fired up, so enthusiastic. Because that's his eternal love is for...
They were saying...
And even Lord Chaitanya... sorry, you going to say something?
No. Wherever the Ramayana or things happening there, Hanuman is always there. Yeah. If you do it at home as well, wherever the Ramayana you're doing, Hanuman's presence is there. Yeah.
And Hanuman also manifested in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes as a devotee of Lord Chaitanya called Murari Gupta. So Murari Gupta is an incarnation of Hanuman.
Oh, okay.
And Lord Chaitanya in front of Murari Gupta would always glorify that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead and that you should surrender to Krishna. And he is the highest person to worship of all the incarnations, more than Ram and everything like that. Yeah. But Murari Gupta in his heart, he'd given his heart to Ram. He couldn't give his heart to Krishna or anything. Yeah. Yeah. So Murari Gupta one day he decided, but he was also surrendered to Lord Chaitanya. He loved Lord Chaitanya, but at the same time he loved Ram, but he couldn't just devote himself to Krishna. Yeah. So he decided I can't live like this. The best thing, it's hypocritical. The best thing for me to do is kill myself. So he was a physician. He had many sharp knives and everything like that. So he decided the next day, I'm going to kill myself with a knife. Yeah. So Lord Chaitanya came one day and said, are you fully surrendered to me, Murari Gupta? He said, yes. Okay, give me your knife.
Oh.
What do you mean give me my knife? Give you my knife. The knife that you're going to kill yourself with, because obviously Lord Chaitanya, he knows everything. So he said, and Lord Chaitanya revealed that actually I was just testing you. I was just testing how strong is your devotion to Ram. He said, actually, I'm very pleased. I'm very pleased that you will never give up your devotion to Ram, not for any other incarnation, even like Krishna. He's just fully surrendered.
Fully.
Like
Hanuman is fully
because this is
surrendered.
so much rasa, so much love he has for the Lord. So this is where the happiness comes from, that relationship. But the impersonalists, they don't have any relationship with the Lord. So it's just everything is energy and stuff. You can't have a relationship with energy, you know. Oh, I have a loving relationship with the sky, you know, or the sunshine. You can't do that. So for them, it's very dry. Everything is very dry and everything, there's no rasa. So this is very unfortunate. But like Prabhupada's saying here, the light of the sun and the moon is coming from the Brahmajyoti. So the Brahmajyoti, that's a effulgence means light. So there's a effulgence. But so the impersonalists understand that the sun comes from the Brahmajyoti. But the devotees understand a step more. We know that the Brahmajyoti comes from Krishna's body.
Yes.
The light that comes from Krishna's body, that's the Brahmajyoti. So the Mayavadis and impersonalists, their goal is to merge with the Brahmajyoti. You see? But we know that behind the Brahmajyoti is Krishna.
Yeah.
That's more higher.
Yeah.
The Brahmajyoti is this the energy. It's the light that comes from Krishna's beautiful Sham Sundar, his beautiful Sham Sundar Krishna body. So we take it a step further. Okay, the sun comes from the Brahmajyoti, but the Brahmajyoti comes from Krishna's body. Whereas the Mayavadis just take it sun, Brahmajyoti. So we take it a step further, that it comes from the sunshine, comes from Krishna, not just from the Brahmajyoti.
Yeah.
Yep, and Om, yeah. So, and then Prabhupada finishes off making it very clear. If you don't know Krishna, you're an illusion.
Yeah.
And if you're an illusion, means if you're ignorant. Illusion means you're in ignorance. So if you're in ignorance and you're in illusion, then that's bondage. Bondage means then you have to come back again. You're not going to get liberated. And Prabhupada says if you know Krishna, then you're going to get liberated. You go back home, back to Godhead, have the rasa, Krishna. But if you don't know Krishna, then you have to come back again and again and again. You have to keep going through the samsara, the cycle of birth and death. So it's very clear. So we should definitely, get this knowledge about Krishna. That's very important to have knowledge of Krishna. Yeah. Just having knowledge about the energies is also not enough, because even for the impersonalists, even if they do follow their process perfectly, maximum will happen. They'll get liberated, yes, but a different kind of liberation. They're only going to merge with the Brahman, the Brahmajyoti, and only for a short time, not eternally. They said that the Mayavadis, they fall down from their so-called liberation in the Brahmajyoti. Because, like I said, there's no rasa. So even if they merge into that light, into the Brahmajyoti light, even if they merge into the light, but after some time, they're going to get bored there. They're going to get frustrated there. There's no rasa. And that they fall back. See that the impersonalists, they fall back down from the Brahmajyoti, fall back down into the material world and take birth as welfare workers. Welfare workers.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. Whereas the devotees, they get liberated and they go to live with Krishna and they enjoy it so much and they don't come back and they don't fall down. Once we go back to Godhead, then we don't fall down. We're enjoying so much in the spiritual world.
Yeah.
Well, lovely to spend some time.
Lovely to spend some time with you.
About Krishna.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
And look forward to when you're able to be dancing again.
Yes, I will be one day definitely
in front of Radha
Gopal. Whenever Jagannath will approve me, I'll dance. I'm just a Jagannath toy. Whenever he wants me to dance, I dance. He asks me to eat, I eat. He asks me to sleep, I sleep.